Being versatile, being curious, being open-minded, and really using your words as weapons to get your point across, to get your net pines made and manifested is really at the core of Mars in the sign of Gemini. And so Mars in Gemini can be really creative, very inventive, very quick on its feet. A quick wit is very, very um, common dear for this placement. And so in this video, I'm going to be discussing what Mars in Gemini means in the natal chart. If you don't know me, I'm a recurring. I do videos on astrology, including general astrology videos like this one and weekly astrology videos. This is the third installment of a video in a series of videos from Mars through all 12 signs. So this is Mars in Gemini now. And I have Mars in Gemini natally, so possibly this video may be more in depth than others, but who knows. So, Mars in Gemini. Mars is the planet of action and assertion. It's also the separating principle. Venus attracts and brings people together. Mars separates because it's war. You're fighting somebody else, therefore you're separate from them. You want to isolate yourself from them. In Gemini, it's the twins. There's a duality. There's a sort of inner double-edged sword combat when it comes to multiple parts of yourself fighting. And there's this fiery air quality. And I would say that Gemini is the fire air sign, making Libra the water air sign and Aquarius the earth air sign, especially because Aquarius is also ruled by Saturn. So, Mars in Gemini. What is this about? Well, the very, very first thing to understand is that if you have this placement, it is quite common for you to be very all over the place, to put yourself in many, many different, like a train going down many different tracks. You're focused on this thing that you're really interested in, and then there's this thing over here that you're really into. So, what this means is you're highly scattered. You're spreading out your energy so thin to so many different places and points of view that it becomes really, really overwhelming and you get overwhelmed. You need that doing multiple things at once, doing multiple things at one time, doing multiple things in general to feel alive and I want to say sane because there's a need here for stimulation. And if that need for stimulation is not met, then the problems occur. And I'll talk about more of that in another part of this video, but for right now, you can be unfocused. You can be very, very unfocused. Now, Gemini comes after Taurus, and if Taurus is so incredibly resistant to change and stimulation and variety, Gemini comes after Taurus and says, hey, it is very, very good for you to be adaptable, to be flexible, to embrace the new and the novelty of life, to spice things up, to open up your mind to new ideas and learn new things. And so Gemini comes after Taurus, and then we add the feelings too, which is Cancer comes after Gemini. But anyway, the energy has to be kept fresh. It's like still room, and you open the windows to a still room, and the breeze comes in. It allows for fresh energy. It gets rid of the staleness in that room. Now, boredom for Mars and Gemini is the kiss of death because boredom, they don't do boredom. If they're highly bored, they're not motivated. They need stimulation. They need their minds to be kept occupied and going. They cannot be bored, otherwise they become very tired, very unmotivated. They need stimulation in their life to be motivated. If there's not enough stimulation going on for them, then they're not motivated. And so they use their words as weapons. Mars and Gemini. I mean, you could say that Mars and Gemini use other words to fight, but that's common for every single sign and every single person on the planet. Specifically for Mars and Gemini, you really utilize your words as weapons to get your point across and um as your weapon when it comes to expressing your anger, expressing yourself. You're very, you can say, you know what to say. Your mind is very agile, very intelligent. You just have the right words to say the proper time, and you can think on your feet. You can be very adaptable and present with what you are saying. If they get fired up, if they get riled up, they need to speak their truth. Let stuff off their chests. It's very, very important with Mars and Gemini not to keep things bottled in. I definitely do not believe in keeping things bottled in. I believe in expressing it and making it known and releasing it and making yourself feel so much better if you hold it and you're constipating and you're not letting it go. Just like we let food and water go, letting our words go, letting our thoughts be released, letting our feelings be out there so that we feel so much clearer, that we feel so much better, that that weight of holding that frustration or whatever the emotion is, that weight is lifted off our shoulders. And so it's very, very important for Mars and Gemini to lift that weight off their shoulders. So when they get angry, when they get riled up, it's very important for them to speak what is going on. So they use their wit to win arguments. They can be very talkative. They may have a lot of nervous energy going on, very frenetic energy, very restless because it's very Gemini is very mercurial. They need new stimulation. They're always looking for, packing stuff up in luggages and going on a trip in a hurry. They want to be spontaneous and on the go. It's a very on the go kind of placement. And so there's a restlessness, there's a need for stimulation, there's a need for alive and energy and activity with this placement. They are extremely adaptable. Their mind is a powerful asset of theirs. They like to utilize everything that they absorb also. A brilliant idea for them is just the beginning. Imagine how they can make that idea real, turn that idea into reality, and that is next level. They're very, very good at absorbing information, learning information. They're also great at planning things out, mapping things out, um, and strategizing. They're willing to manifest their ideas into tangible form. They're willing to take their visions and make them real. Now, they crave excitement. They also crave variety and stimulation. That's very, very important for them. The excitement must be met and it must be, very, very, realistic and real. So that excitement that they crave is very insatiable. They need variety, they need stimulation. This and that. Now, I can only wonder because there's another part of this video, and one of the decks in this Oracle deck is this and that are true. Let's see if I pull that card today after I'm done getting through the information on Mars and Gemini. Let's see if that card comes out because if it does, that's going to be a synchronicity right then and there. So it's this and that, not this or that. It's both and. It wants to include things. It wants to be open to anything. It wants to take all the foods on the buffet, so to speak. They really, really enjoy meeting new people, understanding their lives and learning from them and trying new things. They want to know many people from many different backgrounds. They're very energetic, they're very versatile, They can be very passionate. They can also be very innovative and persuasive when it comes to what they're trying to say, what they're communicating. They can come with brand new, out of the box ideas, and they're very aware of trends going on. And they can really get into people's heads and minds and persuade them. If you have this placement, you are excellent, an excellent and skilled communicator. That is most certainly who you are. You have a thirst for knowledge and you would prefer to learn about various different subjects as opposed to focusing only on one subject at a time. So, you seek knowledge very strongly. You have a very, very intelligent way of communicating with others. You want to channel your energy in constructive pursuits to avoid restlessness. It's very, very important that you do this, that you move your energy, that you don't sit on your energy. You're strong, very intelligent, very efficient, making quick decisions. You can make decisions on your feet. You can act on your feet. You may possess a lot of nervous energy. You may be prone to overthink things. That may be possible because Gemini can represent overthinking. When your mind is not relaxed and you're not in the flow and you're not in the present, you're racking your brain and really trying hard to feel something by overthinking. Stop. Stop. Relax. Stop overthinking. You know you're overthinking when your mind is not relaxed. So relax your mind. So you may get roused by a heated debate. That may be a really, really huge thing for you. You're really utilizing your manual skills, very, very strongly. You're very, very good at utilizing your hands and moving your hands and talking with your hands and doing all that kind of thing. You're good at writing and communication. You're very, very good at doing that. You may be argumentative. In conversations, if Mars is badly aspected and it falls in Gemini in your chart, you may be very argumentative in conversations. You may also make mountains out of molehills, big deals out of small deals. So really put things in perspective and see things objectively as best you can, not to take something so small and make it so large and such big issue. So consider that, uh, during this lifetime, if you have Mars in Gemini. You want to assert yourself with resourcefulness, spontaneity, and ingenuity, things that require mental alertness, um, are very, very good for you. You want to keep your mind going. You're very restless with this placement. You're always seeking new stimulating experiences. You want someone in your life that can keep up with your intellectual and physical energy, that can, go out the run in the mile or read these books and study all these things and, keep up with you in your life. Um, Good lovemaking involves a lot of variety and mental stimulation to you. That is really, really important. That is a very, very strong element with you. You can also be very, very good at problem solving. It's also a strong suit that you have. You wish to explore, learn, and understand new things. Your ambitions are highly intellectual that push you towards activities that require sharp intelligence and wit. You want to expand your horizons and seek new challenges. Um, it's very huge. You may be highly creative. Um, Flexibility in love is very important to you. You may tackle many projects at once. You may be prone to spreading yourself too thin at times. And you might use your hands to really channel your energy. So now I'm going to pull an oracle card from the Guides of the Hidden Realms Oracle by Colette Baron Reed, her latest egg that came out in June last year. I really, really like this deck quite a bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shuffle the cards and see what shuffle the cards. See what Spirit has to say for you. Um, See what guidance and wisdom the universe has for you if you have this placement. So my question is, what does someone with Mars and Gemini in the natal chart need to know for their highest good? Let's do the cards. The card is emergence of protection. It's not the one that I thought. It's keywords on the card that says boundaries, self-preservation, and trusting in divine protection. Isn't that beautiful? This is Colette herself did the art for these cards, and she is a really, really great artist. Look at that. So, emergency protection. What does it mean? With one of the things that this card has to do with is setting healthy boundaries. So you may be so open to learning different things, and you may spread yourself out so thin and learn all these different things, but you need to set boundaries. Like, okay, I'm going to focus on learning this thing, and focus on this only instead of learning about a lot of things at once. So spreading mental, intellectual boundaries is what this card could indicate. What this card has to do with is calling on your spirit team, calling on your spiritual support team, calling on your healers and your help guides, calling on your higher self and higher power to support you in your life, that you don't have to go it alone, because Gemini is so caught up in the logical mind, thinking and overthinking. This is saying stop overthinking, drop into your heart, drop into your soul, and connect to your higher power. To set healthy, firm boundaries. Draw that line in the sand to say, I'm not going to engage with this person even though they need me. I'm not going to um, um, go at all these different projects at once. I'm going to focus on one thing. I'm going to draw that kind of a boundary there with that. And this is also about self-awareness, really knowing yourself for who you are. Um, and so this is really about being self-aware, to know thyself and what drains your energy, or what doesn't work for you. Because if you find that if you are starting all these projects and going in all these different directions, you may feel guilty for it afterwards. So that's that's how you get to know yourself, is by doing the wrong things and then feeling guilty for it afterward, learning from that guilt. So know yourself, know your own limitations, know what lights you up, know the boundaries you have to set, and have a great lifetime. So that is all that I have for you in this video. Thank you so much for watching. You can utilize the features under this video, such as the like and subscribe button, so that it gets out to more individuals who also would be very into this kind of content. Stay tuned for my next video, which is going to be about Mars in the sign of Cancer, where having a very, very strong need to protect those you love, a very mothering need to protect those you love, but also passive aggression could come into play here with Mars and Cancer. More on that in the next video. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.